October 23rd, 2021, in New York City, within a United Nations building, an international tribunal of more than 30 delegates with more than over 100 witnesses who gave testimony over the course of 2.5 days, convicted and found the United States government guilty of 5 counts of genocide against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. This effort being led by multiple different groups, but one of whom, and one person who folks might know, is former political prisoner Jalil Mutakim, who was able to participate in a similar function to try to wage the struggle to charge the United States with genocide back in 1971, with a petition by Paul Robeson and William Patterson. But as I said, on the 23rd, it was officially announced that the International Tribunal, which had been set up, had found the United States guilty on all counts. So what does this mean? Because we know that normally these things don't do anything, right? The United Nations doesn't do anything ever. They're right now spending more time trying to petition and ask Israel to stop bombing the shit out of the Palestinians and to stop oppressing them. And I mean, that's really the modus operandi that they're going with. So we know that the UN is not very likely to take action against this. And we know that the U.S. government isn't very likely to take action against this. But this is a moment for organizing, because what these folks understand is that when this guilty verdict was come to, it is no longer deniable. So when the United States goes on denying, this will be a slap across the face to those who finally have seen it written in, the correct ink by the correct people at the UN that, boom, the U.S. is guilty of genocide. They're not going to do anything. And what Jalil Mutakim wants to do is organize what he's calling a People's Senate to try to actually take action against the U.S. government that we know the ruling class has no interest in taking against itself. So this is something to be celebrated and something to be shared. Please go organize. Please go spread this information.
Landmark Tribunal finds U.S. guilty of genocide against marginalized communities. A recent international tribunal on human rights abuses has delivered a damning verdict against the United States, accusing it of committing genocide against Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples. The tribunal, organized by the Coalition in the Spirit of Mandela, convened legal scholars, activists, and community leaders to address historical wrongs dating back to 1492. The indictment covers a range of systemic issues, including colonization, racism, and militarism, which have evolved into contemporary challenges such as medical apartheid, environmental violence, and public health inequities. Testimonies revealed patterns of police impunity, a school-to-prison pipeline, and the criminalization of legitimate political struggles. The tribunal found the U.S. guilty on all counts, citing evidence of acts of genocide. A detailed judgment outlining recommendations for reparations and future actions is forthcoming. Landmark Tribunal finds U.S. guilty of genocide against marginalized communities.
Did anyone else know that America was being investigated by the UN for charges against humanity? Because I did. But I'm today years old finding out that they were found guilty. So why is no one covering this? Like, literally, I had to fucking dig on Google to find this fucking information. International Tribunal of Experts to judge U.S. human rights abuse against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. A 9-member panel of jurors found America guilty on 5 charges: human and civil rights violations of racist policing, hypermass incarceration, the political incarceration of civil rights activists as well as libertarian activists, past and present day. It would also take up environmental racism and its impact on Black, Brown, and Indigenous people and public health. Did anyone else know that America was being investigated by the UN for charges against humanity? Because I I'm today years old finding out that they were found guilty. So why is no one covering this? Like, literally, I had to fucking dig on Google to find this fucking information. International Tribunal of Experts to judge U.S. human rights abuse against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. A 9-member panel of jurors found America guilty on 5 charges: human and civil rights violations of racist policing, hypermass incarceration, the political incarceration of civil rights activists as well as libertarian activists, past and present day. It would also take up environmental racism and its impact on Black, Brown, and Indigenous people, and public health racism and its traumatic impacts on Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. Altogether, they've been charged with genocide. No one's covering it. Did anyone else know that America was being investigated?
I spent over 3 weeks trying to get a therapy appointment, finally got one. But here's the problem. It wasn't by calling therapy places. I used a therapist finding tool through the Truism Center, a Michigan-based company. I spoke with Danielle, who assisted me in selecting the best counselor for my needs from their extensive network of over 50 licensed therapists. By the end of the call...
If you've been to court and found guilty, it's not a big deal. Just go down to the court office, ask for the court costs. Don't wait for them to be posted. But if you do go home, it doesn't matter if they're posted to you or whatever. That's a contract offer to pay. All you do is you do a BOE on it, take it back to the court, hand it over the counter. They accept them.
So now they're saying that the African Americans that are in the United States, they're saying that we're not the descendants of the slaves that were forced here from Africa. They're saying that we are the descendants of the indigenous people who were already here. Now, I love indigenous people. I love African American people. Either way. Now, reparations are due. No matter which side you choose, no matter what you say, where's the reparations? A win is a win. So now they're saying that
on October 25th, 2021, the International Tribunal finds America guilty of crimes against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. On October 25th, 2021, the International Tribunal finds America guilty of crimes against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. On October 25th, 2021, the International Tribunal finds America guilty of crimes against Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. On October 25th, 2021,
so they just now released Alpha Brain on TikTok, and they're running a massive sale right now. So if you don't know what Alpha Brain is, hit the button to look at the product description. Look at what it does for your cognitive.
The Pentagon building a new secret courtroom in Guantanamo Bay. Wow.
Did you know that if a policeman gives you a ticket, cop pulls you over and gives you a ticket, that is called a ticket in commerce. And so if you go to buy something and you don't have the money and it's too expensive, you ask me to co-sign for you. Now, if I co-sign for you to buy something and I co-sign on the ticket, that means if you don't pay it, I have to, right? Therefore, when the cop gives you a ticket, he signs it first. It's called a ticket in commerce. Because money is going to change hands. Therefore, when you sign it, you are the co-signer of the ticket in commerce. Well, as a co-signer, you don't have to pay the ticket. You were just a co-signer, and you can decide, I don't think I want to pay that ticket. And then you send the ticket and the paperwork to the Secretary of State, and they then give it to the Attorney General. The Attorney General then sends it back to the cop, and the cop has to pay the ticket because he's the one that signed it first. You were just a co-signer. But as long as you don't understand this, people don't understand the way banks and commerce works.
And government.
And government, religion, and it's all one big show. And if you're not licensed to play in the show, like George Carlin used to say, it's a big club and you ain't in it. Did you know?
Where are you from? No, where are you really from?
Amsterdam.
No, like, where are you really from? It's okay. You're one of the good ones. You're one of the good ones. I get a large in the black jeans.